So our practice today is going to be a focus on our spine. So I know that the title is back bending, but the spine is the information highway from our brain all the way down the spinal cord to the rest of the body. Now, there's a few muscles that we're going to be focusing on in order to support the spine. First off, the abdominals, the transverse abdominis in particular. So that's kind of like the corset of your body, right? So that corset, there's different abdominal groupings. There's the rectus abdominis, which are the ones that are like the six pack. There's the obliques, which are on the sides, but the transverse are the ones that come all the way through. Now, they kind of keep everything contained, and we'll be practicing a few movements so that you can feel for isolating those abdominals or those muscles. And then we're going to move into the other pillars of the spine. So the pillars would be the erector spinae, which are the long muscles that run down the sides of the spine. They're parallel to the spine. They're kind of like marathon runners of your entire back. They can hold and sustain a long stretch and movement. The psoas, which are deep hip muscles, they're in charge of hip flexion. And when they are tight, this part will compensate. Okay, and then the last one is the quadratus lumborum. Yes, that's it, quadratus lumboris. So that is this movement. Now, it also gets pretty tight too. So there's going to be a few ways that we move into this practice. And let's start off by coming onto your back in resting pose. So that's laying back, knees bent, feet are mat width distance apart. And we'll let the knees knock together. Take 3 deep breaths to land. Nice and slow. You can feel your entire lower back fill up. And as you exhale, there's a softening in the abdomen. Nice slow breaths. Might even feel good to oscillate your head from side to side. Feel the ridges on the back of your skull. Now, resting pose is actually a really nice alternative to Shavasana if you find resting flat on your back uncomfortable. All right, so bring the chin back to neutral. Chin is in line with the center of your chest, and we're going to place our hands on the abdominals or on the tummy. Take a big breath in. Now, as you exhale, see if you can pull the navel towards the floor, and imagine that you're trying to draw everything towards the center line of your body. Now, a sensation that you might feel where the transverse abdominis they connect is if you cough. So take a breath in and just pretend to cough. Now you can feel them lightly contract, yeah? All right, so I'm just gonna assume that was a yes. So the hands will stay on the tummy. Bring the feet to about hip width distance apart again. Take a breath in. Now exhale, feel everything draw in towards the center of the body. You can use your hands to support, and we'll just take the right foot to hover. Knee comes up in line with the hip, point the toes, breathing nice and deep. Now as you move into that sensation, did you notice if the hips, did the hip collapse, did the low back collapse? Try to maintain a nice neutral spine where you can almost slip your fingertips underneath your low back. Okay, now reaching through the toes, take an inhale. Exhale, pull the belly down. Now inhale, lower the heel down just to tap. Nice and slow so you can really feel the abdominals turn on. Good, exhale to come back up. So we're doing this slow on purpose. Just really feel nice, slow movements. Notice all the different muscles that are changing and shifting to stabilize or to compensate. So just a slow tap down, coming back up. And we'll just do 2 more here. Nice and easy. Keep drawing the navel down, knit the ribs in. Pulling back up. Good. Last one. And exhale to come up. All right, switch sides. And we'll take the left knee up, either pointing or flexing the foot, whatever feels good for you. Take an inhale. Now exhale, draw the belly in. Just squeeze through the navel like you're trying to draw in the tightest corset. Good. Inhale to lower. Just finding a nice slow movement here in the left hip. Exhale, come back up. And inhale to a hover. Exhale, back up. And just play with that range of motion. Stabilize the hips, stabilize the foundation. So we're tuning into that abdominal area, the transverse abdominis, keeping the spine contained, keeping the body active. Good. Now bring it in, hug your knees into your chest. Little massage, rock from side to side. Now this time we're going to take the foot out a little bit longer towards the back of the mat. So bring your hands back onto the abdomen. Knees come up. This time take a breath in. Now on the exhale, contract the belly. Now we're just going to lower down. Try to bring the leg out a little bit further from when it was last. Exhale back up. Good. Inhale to lower. Notice if the ribs are trying to pop up, pull them down, exhale back up. Good, breathe in to lower, hover, feel the navel pull in, draw down through the lower back, exhale back up. Good, inhale, and exhale. Last one, see if the hips are moving too. So stabilize the hips, stabilize the spine, the foundation. Good. Little knee circles. And the other side. So harness that energy, draw it in towards the center line. Take a breath in. Exhale, the left leg comes down to a hover. Tap the heel. Good. Come back up. Good. Breathe in nice and slow. Exhale back up. See if now, what's going on here? Are your hips, are the hip flexors taking over? Contract down through the belly. 3 more of those. So just observe, are your hip flexors working or is it the abdominals? If the hip flexors have turned on, you likely need to keep the knees more bent. Good. Bring it back in, hug it out. And then we'll make our way over into tabletop position. So slowly make your way back up. So still playing with the transverse abdominis and keeping everything nice and contained. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Stretch the right leg out behind you and just come onto your toes. You might need to take the knee out wider, so just play with your foundation here. Notice what's going on. Are the ribs flaring? Are we starting to sag into the low back? Try to keep it all contained. Press the floor away. Keep drawing in through the midsection. Breathe in. Now light up the glutes, light up the back of the leg to lift the leg up. As my leg came up, I wanted to dump into my low back. So try to keep that containment here, drawing all the energy in. Now crawl the left hand forward. Nice long breaths. Keep the glutes engaged. Good. Now if you can, go ahead, slowly float the left arm up without overcompensating, maybe in the left ribs. Keep pulling in through the belly, full inhale. Now exhale, slowly bring the elbow in to kiss the knee. Press the floor away. Good. Inhale, reach. So now we're really tuning into not only the transverse abdominals, exhale, pull in, but the flexion of the spine. So we're moving the spine. Breathe in and exhale. 2 more. Nice long reach. Inhale, press through your heel, reach the fingers. Exhale. Last one, big breath in. And exhale out. Good, come back to neutral. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, round through the spine, chin to chest. Press back through the hips. Moving into the traps, those muscles between the shoulder blades. Okay, come back to the center, other side, so the left heel comes back. Flex through the heel, stay on the ball of your foot. Now pull in through the lower belly, knit the ribs together, float the heel up. See what's going on with the toes here. Are you starting to turn the left toe out to the side? That's where the glutes are starting to take over. So draw in through the belly. Now crawl the right hand forward. Coming onto the fingertips, take a breath in. Exhale, float the hand up. Press the floor away with your left palm. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, reach from one end of the room to the other. Exhale to curl in. Good, big breath and get long through your body. Exhale, curl in. Good, inhale and exhale. Last one, big breath in and exhale. Good, come back to cat-cow. Breathe in, drop the belly. Breathe out, roll in. And just take a stretch back, come into child's pose, reaching through the hands. Now come forward, come into a supported high plank. So the knees will stay on the mat. Nice and strong, take a breath in, open up across the collarbones, upper back is nice and active. Exhale, slowly lower to your tummy, nice and easy. Now bring your hands forward about 6 inches. Breathe in, and on the exhale, you can come up onto the elbows or come into like a supported low cobra, where the hands are underneath you. You can come up onto the elbows. Now in a yin style of practice, it's really easy to come into a passive stretch here, but instead, I want you to reach back through your toes. You might even need to lift the legs so that the fleshy part of the thighs aren't in the way. Then hook your pubic bone into the mat. Traction your spine forward, lift your chest. Draw the shoulders away from your ears. Now, if you're in the low cobra, use the hands. Traction the spine forward, belly pulls in, and the connection of the pubic bone onto the mat is still there. Also that part of the abdominals in the lower abdomen. So the erector spinae, there are those long muscles, those deep, deep muscles that run parallel to the spine. They're responsible for keeping you standing or sitting. They're slower to twitch as well. Okay, come on down. Hands under your shoulders, push back. Let's take a moment in child's pose. Take a breath in. Exhale, tabletop into downward dog. Nice deep breaths. Inhale through your nose and sigh out your mouth. Now, because the focus of our practice today is on our spine and not on the hamstrings, I encourage you to bend your knees a lot. So keep the knees bent, press your hands down and forward, lift up and back through the hips. Maybe even the lower part of the abdominals touch the thighs. You're just stretching into the lower back. Knees are bent. Now look to your hands, step forward, ragdoll. Again, bending your knees so much that you can rest your ribs over the thighs. The head is hanging. You can feel the weight of gravity pulling down through the spine. In fact, let's interlace the fingers and bring the hands behind the neck. Let the weight of the elbows drop towards the earth. So you're not actually pulling the head down, you're just helping it out with some gravity and weight. All right, hands come onto your shins. Inhale, stretch your chest forward, get nice and long. Bow, exhale. Again, halfway lift to lengthen. Fold, exhale. Now bend your knees. Inhale, reach all the way up, come up to the top. And hands come together in front of your chest. Okay, now release the hands. Take the feet out just a couple inches wider, so slightly wider than hip width distance. I want to bring one hand onto the low back and one hand onto your belly. We're just going to practice folding forward here. So as you bend the knees, just a little soft bend in the knees, here's what tends to happen. One is we tend to round forward when we fold, or if you're really active, you always kind of like overstretch. And you see that a lot when we do this one. Come forward like that, right? So try to keep the pelvis neutral. One hand on the low back, one hand on the tummy. And we'll just go a few times like this. So take a breath in nice and long. Spine is neutral, pelvis is neutral. Exhale, engage the transverse abdominals, pulling everything into the center. Now tip forward, bend the knees. Tipping without changing the position of your spine. Okay, take a breath in, nice and long. You could probably bend your knees more. Exhale, come back up. Squeeze through the glutes at the top. Good, so my pelvis is not rotating or dropping. Take a breath in. Exhale, pull in through the lower abdomen. Inhale, come forward, bending. Stay connected to the pelvic bowl here. So it's not tipping forward, it's not dropping. You could bend the knees more. Exhale, come back up. Okay, one more time. Come forward. Stay strong. Ooh, I can see already feel my ribs starting to flare open as we concentrate here. So stay here. You can even bring your hands onto your hips. Keep lengthening through your spine. Take a breath in. Exhale, pull back up. Shoulder roll. So when we start to move into our flows, keep that in mind. So keep that in mind. The sweetness of slow flow is that you can really develop strength in those transitions. All right, so here we go. Take a breath in, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees, slowly fold forward without losing that spine. Hands can come onto your shins or bend the knees more. Bring your fingertips to the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Keep your knees bent as much as you need to. Okay, now inhale, rise all the way up, nice and strong through the back line. Exhale, hands at heart center. Breathe in to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Nice and slow to come down. Inhale, stretch your chest. Now hands to the mat, step back into a high plank position, top of a push-up. So here we are again, lighting up those abdominals. You can also place your knees on the mat as well. Just rock forward and back on your toes. Here it's more obvious that you have to contract through the abdomen. Okay, bring the knees down. Come all the way down to the tummy, chest and chin land. Inhale, baby cobra, peel your chest. Exhale, push back, tabletop, downward dog. Steady breath in and a steady breath out. Again, breathe in and breathe out. Look to your hands, roll your spine forward, step, step. Inhale, stretch your chest. Bow, exhale. Inhale, reach all the way up, nice and slow. See where that connection is in the spine. Exhale, hands at heart center. Take a breath in to reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands to the mat, step back to high plank. Lean into the toes. Option to set the knees on the mat. Exhale, come down halfway, chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog, hold here. Keep pulling the chest forward. Shoulder heads are drawing back and down. Such a great way to activate the erector spinae. So all the muscles that support the spine. Now bring your knees down, push back, child's pose, little stretch. So just feel that space in the lower back. Third eye can come to the mat. All right, tabletop, downward dog. Pedal of your feet. Take your left leg up nice and high. Bend your knee, open the hip. So this is what's interesting, this pose here. Now we're getting deeper into the psoas. So the psoas are those deep, major hip flexors that we have. They connect from the lower part of the spine, mid-spine area, all the way through the inner thigh and into your hip. Take a breath in to lengthen out the leg. Exhale, bring the knee into your nose, cat stretch the back as you come forward. Take a quiet step into warrior two. Inhale, rise up. Sink down on the exhale. Turn your left palm up to the sky, reverse. So there's that lateral flexion, right? The QL. So the quadratus lumborum. That lateral movement. Breathe into the side of the body. And then we'll bring the spine into a more neutral position, extended side angle pose. Left elbow to front thigh. Take this arm, brush it down and forward. Roll your chest open. Step heavy into the outer edge of your right foot. Then roll open through the chest. Not too much weight on the elbows, just there for balance. Press the hips forward, lean your chest back. Breathe into the sensation. Good, inhale, rise back up. Nice and slow. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down to frame the front foot. Spin onto the back toes. Step back, high plank. We're gonna come all the way down to the floor. So carefully lower yourself down. Option to use the knees. Good, come on to the elbows. Traction the spine forward. Take a breath in. Now exhale to bend the right knee. Grab hold of your right foot. Kick back into the hand. You could bring the foot on or the hand onto the inside of your arch and kick. Open the chest. Nice full breaths here. So it's kind of like a twist as we're opening up. Very similar to dancer pose. Such a great way to open up through the collarbone, the shoulder, the anterior deltoid, so that's the front of your shoulders. And come on down. Hands under the shoulders, push back, tabletop to downward dog. I'm going to turn the other way here. All right. Other side. So the right leg floats up. Bend your knee, open the hip. Keep lifting up and back. Feeling the stretch through the right hip. Take a breath in to lengthen up the leg. Exhale, knee to nose. Rounding the back. Quiet step forward, warrior two. Inhale to rise up to your foundation. Exhale to land. Breathe deep. Now that we're in this more erect position, can you feel the curves of your spine? So the natural curves. Turn the right palm up, reverse the warrior. And because we're moving into awareness of the spinal body, just notice if you're like twisting or if there's any other, like if there's a turn forward and you're coming up and back. Try to keep your chest square with your hips, then come up and back. Breathe into the ribs. Good, now come forward, elbow to thigh, brush the top arm down, bicep hugs the ear, roll your chest open. Breathe nice and deep. So we're neutralizing the spine. And to have the spine neutral, lengthen out your right side, contract down through the left. So imagine the spine is straight. Roll open through your chest. Inhale, come back up, warrior two. Slowly bring the hands to frame your right foot. Take a step back into high plank. Come all the way down, nice and slow, all the way down to the tummy. Slide onto the elbows, traction your spine. Now bend the left knee, reach back with your left hand, grab your foot, kick back into the chest. Or kick back into the hand. Be impressive if you could kick your own chest right about now. You keep lifting up and back. Feel that all into the front of your body. Okay, release down. Hands under your shoulders. Push back, tabletop. Downward dog. And just a reminder too, you could take water whenever you're thirsty. So you can have sips of water. I know, at least here in Ottawa, the summer days they're here. They just kind of came really fast right after winter. So it gets hot pretty quick. All right, take your left leg up high. Bend your knee, open the hip. So we're gonna move right into wild thing from here. So come all the way up and back. Land lightly on your toes, lift the hips. Lift through the left hand. Breathe into the entire front of your body. Come back over, three-legged down dog, nice and long. Reach through the heel. Exhale, come into crescent lunge. Stay high on the ball of your back foot. Inhale, reach up. Good. Now just notice what's going on here. Remember at the beginning of class how we did that pelvic tilt situation where we folded forward and came back? See if you can reconnect with that. You can bring one hand to the lower abdomen, one to the low back. You might even need to step the back foot forward a little. So find that neutral pelvis. tone through the back leg. Take a breath in. Exhale to sink down. Okay, breathe in. Exhale to come forward, Banarasana. Now reach actively through your fingertips. Imagine you're holding a block through between the hands and turn on your triceps. Lift the hands away from the lower back. Nice full breaths. So are the hips starting to swivel? Is the left hip swiveling forward? Pull the hip back, still maintaining that nice neutral pelvis. You can even bring the hand to the low back again. Okay, now swing your right arm forward, get nice and long. Exhale to hook your elbow on the outside of your knee or bring the hand down. Another alternative, drop the back knee. Take a breath in, twist on the exhale. Now, just see if you can give yourself some slack. Can you unravel? And then as you exhale, move into space. Your body temperature will rise in a twist. All right, hands come down, step back, high plank, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale, carry through, downward dog. 3 deep breaths in your down dog. I'm just gonna turn again so I have more space for that wild thing movement. Take your right heel up high, bend the knee, open your hip, reaching up. So you're absolutely welcome to stay right here or come all the way over, land, wild thing. Lift through the toes, reach through the right hand, press your hips up high and lengthen your tailbone. Neutral pelvis, neutral pelvis. Can you find that? Come back over, 3-legged down dog, nice and long through the legs. Exhale, knee to nose, cat stretch forward, quietly land, crescent lunge. Open the feet a little bit wider, maybe wider than your hips for balance. Good, and then just notice if you let the ribs flare forward. So the ribs flaring forward is an indication that the transverse abdominals have relaxed. So pull them back in. Take a breath in. Exhale to tip forward. Imagine you're holding that block between the hands. Press the palms together. Shoot the collarbones forward nice and long. And at the same time, the back leg is still pretty active. Two more breaths. Feel the energy draw in towards the navel. Now swing the left arm forward. Take a big breath in. Exhale to hook your elbow. Again, hand can come down. You can also drop your back knee. Work with whatever feels good in your body. Hands are gently pressing towards each other, and the sensation across your chest is very similar to baby cobra. Good, hands come down, big step back, reach up and back, 3-legged down dog. Let the foot come down, rock forward onto your toes. Nice and slow, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, lift your hips, downward dog. Okay, so lower your knees to the mat. Just grab your block, make sure it's readily accessible. So keep it pretty close by. Drop your hips off to one side, swing your legs out in front of you, and we'll make our way down onto the back for a bridge pose. So as you come down, Now, I really like to use the block for bridge because it keeps the hips neutral. When we get into this shape, a lot of the times the toes turn out. So we want to keep the hips nice and neutral. We're going to engage the entire back body, but also stretch open the front of the body. All right, so take a big breath in. Exhale to lift your hips up. Feet are right underneath the knees, or the heels are under the knees. Hug the block between your legs. Now lengthen your tailbone. See if you can find that neutral pelvis as you draw the tailbone towards your block. Lift the hip bones up nice and high. Squeeze through the block. Now let's just lower down a little bit, like halfway down. Relax through the glutes. Keep hugging the inner thighs. Exhale, press back up. And inhale down. Exhale back up. Okay, hold here, stay here. Press down through the heels, lift the hip bones up higher. Now carefully roll yourself down. Set the block off to the side. Let the knees knock together, or you can stretch all the way up in Shavasana. We're only here for a moment. Feel your spine on the mat. All right, so come onto your side, or you could just roll up and come right into downward dog. We're gonna prepare ourselves to get into sleeping hero pose. So the downward dog is just to really get the blood flow through the joints. Okay, bring your knees down. Open your knees wide, big toes to touch. Have a seat on your heels. Lift your hips up. Now see if you can draw that neutral spine position or the neutral pelvis again. So you probably already know what that feels like to lengthen out the lower back. So if I were to be standing, it would be like my pelvis is in the exact same position as me standing. Lower your hips back down. Now that might feel like plenty already for you, and you could stay here or start to ease your way down onto your elbows. You might come right down onto your shoulder blades. You should feel pretty solid in the torso, the upper back, on the body. If you're kind of like bouncing, that actually puts a lot of strain on your knees. So try to keep yourself in the most solid foundation in the torso. Knees stay anchored. All right, so come back up, nice and easy. Engage through the abdominals to lift up. And we'll take a step back into downward dog. All right, so knees will come back down. All right, so this position here, it's gonna prepare us to get into camel pose. I'm just gonna actually go this way so that you might be able to see this better. So the feet will be uncurled, or shoelaces on the mat. And we'll start in a seated position. So the hands will come up. As we take a breath in, contract the abdominals. Good. Inhale, length. Exhale, lift the hips up. So this is more of like a glute sensation, a glute lift. Good, now lean back, take a breath in. Exhale, back up. You're gonna feel that in your quads, yeah? Good. Sit back down, inhale. Exhale, up. Squeeze through the seat. Inhale, lean back. Exhale, back up. Only go as far as comfortable for you. Inhale down. Take a breath in. Exhale, lift, squeeze the glutes, nice and tall. Inhale, lean back. Exhale up. Inhale down. Okay, 2 more just like that. You could do them at your own pace now. The exhale is the lift. Last one, exhale to lift. Inhale, lean back, feel the strength in the back of the body, feel the quads. Come back up and down. Whew. Right, roll your shoulders out. Now grab your block, put your block between your thighs. Start with the toes curled under. Now the sensation that we just did, that activation we just did as we lean back, it's gonna be pretty similar when we come into camel pose. So feel the arms, windmill the hands onto your low back. Fingertips pointing down, open up your chest, take a breath in, squeeze the block, drop down through the tailbone. So there's that neutral pelvis. Exhale to lean back, keep hugging the thighs, then grab for the heels. If the heels are too far away, keep your hands on the low back. Keep hugging the block. Now, the chin can either be tucked in or the gaze up. Open up the entire front of your body. This is such a great way to stretch the psoas. One hand to the low back at a time. Turn on your quads, lift yourself back up. Have a seat. Move the block. Slow it down. Camel is one of those poses that actually can really turn up a lot of emotions in the body. It's a huge heart opening pose. So it's normal if you feel like an overwhelming sense of emotion. That's pretty normal. All right, drop the hips off to one side. Swing your legs out in front of you. And we'll take the sole of your right foot to the inner leg. And you might need your block too for this one. So just make sure it's readily available. Turn to your right knee. Reach up with your left arm, get nice and long. Now the elbow will land on the inside of your knee. You might even place the block on the inside of the knee. Now take your right hand to the chest, open your chest, then reach up. So this is a great stretch to get into the QL. Yeah. Now with the elbow or on the inner thigh, use that as leverage to twist and open. Then you can reach actively through the right fingertips, bring your hand to the back of your head and roll open a little bit more. Now you can really feel that sweetness there. Breathe into that. Reach up with the right hand, pull yourself back up, and relax down. All right, switch sides. So we'll take the other leg in. So left foot in, right leg long. Turn yourself to face the left knee. And the block can come onto the inside of your leg if you're using a block. Bring your elbow down. And actually, let's get long first. So reach up, then land the elbow. Again, come all the way up. Take a full breath in. Left hand to the collarbone. Open the chest. Open, open, then reach. We'll open through the chest. Oh, ding, 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 ding. There it is. There's that muscle we're trying to get. Now you can bring the hand to the back of your head and give yourself some support as you lean back into your hand. Open up across your chest. All right, reach back up, come all the way up, and relax down. Move the block out of the way. Come onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Let's do a few really big circles with your knees. So big circles. And you can feel all of the lower back here. So just massaging it out. Now take your left foot to the mat, right leg stretches up to the ceiling. Grab anywhere on the back of your leg. You can bend the knee as much as you need to as well. Take a breath in. Exhale to pull. Reach actively through the right heel. Now bend the right knee, straighten out the left leg, hug your knee in towards your shoulder. Take a breath in. Now exhale to twist. Let the knee fall over your side. And the right arm can come up to a cactus, a Y, or maybe even straight out from your shoulder. It's really feeling the stretch in this twist. Okay, come back to center. And we'll switch legs. So keep the right knee bent, left knee will come in. Then take your heel up to the ceiling, grabbing anywhere on the back of your leg. Take a full inhale. Pull on the exhale. Again, bending the knee as you see fit. Like this shouldn't be too strong on the hamstring today. Or maybe you were in the hamstring class yesterday, so this might feel really darn good. But as you're here, see if you can maintain a neutral pelvis again. So if you pull in really tight, you'll feel that the bowl is like rocking back. All right. Now bend your left knee, grab on the top of the shin, let the right leg come out. Cross your thigh over your body, spinal twist. Coming into whatever variation of twist feels good. Come back to center. All right. Bring your feet to the mat and take any last movements you might need to rest in final Shavasana. And just stretch all the way out whenever you're ready. I like to take my hair out of a ponytail, if you have one, and just give it a good old shake. If you have short hair, pretend you're shampooing your head, and then give the roots a little pull. Feels so good. And just let your body relax on the surface of your mat. And take inventory of all the points in your body that are touching the earth. And see if you're still tense or trying to prop yourself in place. See if you can relax and become very heavy. You can imagine that there is a weighted blanket that's just been draped over your entire body. Feeling how the heels have become very heavy. Your knees, the hips, the shoulder blades, your elbows, and the back of your hands. These points so heavy on the mat. And shift your awareness to your spine. And you just did all this awesome work on the spine, creating this new awareness of all the curves and how you can support the pillars. And just thank your spine for being there to hold you up. For supporting you in this marathon of life, yeah? See if you can allow yourself to become heavier now as you let the muscles soften. The muscles in the face, skin around your eyes, soften. Take the time that you need today in Shavasana. Rest for as long as you need. Thank yourself for carving this time out in your day to be here on your mat for your practice. From my heart to yours, namaste.